I didn't think I'll be making any more videos. I honestly didn't. I've done my video yesterday and I was on a huge rant and I was really, really pissed. And I drew a line in the sand. I was like, this is it. And I actually woke up today fresh in that mindset. I'm like, you know what? It's a brand new beginning now from here on out. But I'm watching a TV show, Sex Education on Netflix. It's great. And just sometimes there's little things that just trigger me to think, I could delve deeper into that. And what's interesting is the more I watch it, I've never given myself a label of anything, like who I am. I share my books. I just see it as self help, personal growth, personal development, um, just to try and inspire people to overcome their circumstances. But the more I see people, I'm like, I could have easily been realistically, I could have easily been a therapist. I don't consider myself a therapist. I don't want to I don't like labels like that, and I think it's too limited. You know, so even if I had the potential, even if a label could be formed on that, and it was like go and study for that, I wouldn't do it. Um, I'm not interested in certain things. It's like even with my books, for instance, if I was offered the opportunity to study at the most prestigious writing school, whatever that possibly could, I would turn it down because I don't care. It doesn't. It's not of an interest. It's not a goal of mine. I don't even know what that is. What is that? The Hogwarts of writing. So yeah, I see little things, and it's like my ambitions are just different to other people's ambitions. I don't do well with formal education because I don't like it. It's too rigid and regimented. It's not something that fits with me at all. I can do it, but I don't like it. I find myself butting heads with the curriculum or what needs to be done or what they're expecting of you, and it's never really enough, in my opinion. There's always like an angle, a specific niche they're looking for, no matter the text and the context of everything. And it's like, you might see something, study it, and have an interpretation, but if it doesn't fit the existing narratives and the way the standards that have been set, for instance, it's not acceptable in some ways. And it's like, yeah, but things are there to be changed, altered, improved. So I just prefer to work outside the box. And something come up, and it was trying to think now what it was. It was the fact that I thought was interesting within my own life. They were talking about the fact that they had to change these different schools, and people had gone in different directions and things. And it was saying how some people just felt left out as other people go on different parts of their life. So sometimes the people you're surrounded by end up outgrowing you, and it can leave you behind. And a couple of them felt really, really lonely. And I related to that, but in the opposite direction of it. And I thought, yeah, I feel exactly the same way, but there's no way to change it. It's so frustrating. Talk about it a lot. It's not a desperation because I don't want chaos around me. But meeting people who elevate themselves is really rare. So it's not a case of people have walked away from me. It's that I've walked away from people. I've set bigger dreams for myself and bigger expectations and higher standards. And it's kind of like if I'm seeing people like a soap opera, for instance, a drama, and they just live a life gossiping and churning out the same nonsense over and over again. That's not a lifestyle I want. That's not a dream I see for myself. And it's like, you know what? I don't want to be around these sort of people anymore. And then you recognize the disrespect, the toxicity. And that's what people do. They talk behind your back, they plot your downfall, and they get vengeful. And they wonder why you don't like them. And it's like, mate, everything you are is what I despise in a human being. I despise you. That's the reality. And I don't care. Like, if people know it within me, they know. And that's why they target me because they know I'm thinking that. And they know I'm thinking that of them. And of course, makes them vengeful. You could argue or at that point, maybe you're above yourself. And it's like, well, once you start elevating, anyone starts to elevate themselves, have higher aspirations for their life. It's not from a place of spite. It's just you want the best life for yourself. And we all deserve it, but we have to take the steps towards it, and then you have to adjust the life accordingly. And unfortunately, that there's this sacrifices do need to be made. People will pull you in left, right, and center, try and keep you in the comfort zone of where they find themselves. It might work for them, but it doesn't always serve us a purpose. It limits our potential. So we have to limit ourselves for others to feel comfortable. Why? Because they won't meet us where we're at. So they expect us to downgrade to where they are. And that's just the one thing I will not compromise. So if people don't heal and they don't evolve and they don't want to improve their lives, then our path has to come to an end. And like I said, the journey gets so lonely, it gets unbearable, which is where my bit of a rant come really from. It was so many levels to my life where I'm just like deeply fed up. When it comes down to it, though, I'll always do what makes me proud and what I feel called to do. So even if I feel like resentful in some way, if I think I can help someone, I will still go the extra mile to help people, you know? Like at sheer principle, I shouldn't be making any more videos because it's ridiculous, like the level of views I get and the life I have to endure. But if what you do helps one person, you know, it's worth conceding, talking about it. But like the biggest problem I have in my life, it's not friendships and things because I've never really been attracted to friendships. It's never bothered me. It never has. I'm not what it is. I'm not. I've never been someone that's interested in popularity contests, and I think it's for that reason. Like part of the reason why I'm so myself, because I don't want everyone to like me. In fact, I actually don't want everybody to like me. I really don't, because I find people get clingy, and then the people expect you to be a certain way. They come up with an image of who you are, and they put you in a box. And for the most part, they expect you to behave that fits and conforms within that box. You know, you all do it. Maybe it's subconscious because we literally start to think some people are like mirrors of ourselves. And I have trouble with that myself sometimes. You know, I hold people to a higher standard, but it's because I have such a high standard of self. So, like, I talk a lot where I'm very black and white. It's not usually a much in the grey area. So I either feel righteous within this, or I feel I can understand that because they haven't done anything wrong. But there's sometimes like a grey area, like where people are healing, and it might not seem fair, but there's a process. And sometimes I struggle to see the process. I might see it, and I still after think that's not an excuse, though. You know, but sometimes even I need more compassion within that. But there's a lot of people, you know, they try to change you, and I've never been prepared to change myself for others. And I find it's a lot more easier just to be yourself and just focus on your path. And like I say, too many people, I find it not just distracting, I find it exhausting. It's like people will just keep pulling you everywhere, and it's like the expectation. Then you have to feel sorry for people, so you feel guilty for saying no. When really it's like if you just don't feel like doing something, it shouldn't be that big an issue. But people make it seem like, well, I can't have fun if you don't come. And so that's not really fair pressure, is it? Because if I don't want to do something, I shouldn't have to. Now, again, selfish, but then maybe I am selfish within my life. Maybe I'm selfish with the time I want to spend on other things. I compromise for the right people. So, like for my daughter, for instance, let's say I had the whole intention. I think I don't know if it was last weekend. One of the days, like I don't know if it was Saturday or something. I can't remember, but I was going to write my book, and I had the whole day planned for the book. I literally was so excited. I started the day, and I was like, you know what? I feel energized now. I really want to really get this done, and I got my laptop all ready. I had all but everything ready to prepare. And then randomly, my daughter just messaged me, um, "Can you call?" You know, I'm freaking out at the moment because there's a boy she liked and things, and it's like this was my day was prepared. You know, I wouldn't give that. I wouldn't. No one else on this planet, I wouldn't do that for. But with her, I was like, yeah, yeah, okay. You know, put the laptop out of the way. And I never worked on it, and it threw me, and it throws you off, you know. Because I don't think I did it the next day either. Because that's the thing. If you're feeling it, you really need to do it then. But with her, I do put things back. I'm recognizing there's down to be a boundary somewhere though, because we do have our own goals as well. But I just I just find that's a nightmare though. If you have multiple people doing that, you'd be like, I haven't, I'm not, I can't do everything. And more importantly, I'm someone that really does. I desire a very close, trusted circle of people. That's all I want. I really don't want a lot of people around me. I know some people do. They want to be a party. They want a house party. Like, I don't. Too many people. It's too much energy. It's too much drama. And it's like, I don't need it. I rather just have it's almost like a safe space, but it's not that. It's high value people, people that really know you and you trust them. And it's not boring because you've all got personalities. Um, So yeah, I really one of the biggest things for me right now is I want to be in love. I really do. I am a romantic, and I don't even realize. Sometimes I don't, and other times I'm like, yeah, you are. And I want to meet someone that just makes me excited, and my everything lights up. I've been waiting so long for someone. And it's not their fault that I waited, but I'm not waiting anymore. You have to draw. I think that's to draw a line somewhere, and I think I give people longer than I should. Again, no one's fault, but I do give people way too long because I have such a high expectation of myself. I hate the idea of spending life with the wrong person. Even within that show, it sort of validates it. Damn, not well. But you see it, even like I say, within the show. Often, someone likes someone, but they're with someone, and then the other person dates someone, and that person's now interested in it. It's like a yo-yo. It's always a bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. But when do you ever come together? And I've always been aware of that my whole life. That if you like someone, sometimes you have to be the stable one because otherwise you just spend your life bouncing around and you never ever you settle. I don't want to settle. I don't ever want to settle for less. But I think when you've waited long enough, it begs the question: have I got it wrong? Have I got it wrong? In all honesty, I am spiritual, and I know the person I waited for was my person. I'm 100% sure. I've asked spirit so many times. That was the one I should have been marrying. It was the one I was supposed to create a family with, the one I create a legacy with. And we travel and we live a great life, and it's worth waiting for that for sure. But sometimes people make decisions that don't always go in your favor because we have free will. So I recently asked spirit, was that person supposed to be with me by now? And it was yes. It's not a blame game or anything. It's just we have free will, and they've chose a path that derailed them. And I can't sit around waiting. I said we have to just realize that, unfortunately, that plan has come to an end, and a new fate will have to unfold. Now, when I'm with someone in the future, and I would hope to God I'm with someone, I know spirit will align me with someone just as incredible. And I'm looking forward to it. And that's the thing. Just because I spoke about a certain person for a period of my life, it doesn't mean when I'm with someone else in the future that they're not as special. It's just in that period, that was the one I was focusing on. And it was the one that spirit had planned. And I'm sure spirit's going to have another one planned. But I'm going to give it time to unfold. And then I'll ask the specific questions. Because in all honesty, I do receive a lot of letters at the moment, like the same letter over and over again. And I'm like, I don't want to see it anymore, though. Just stop. I just keep scrolling past. And then recently, I just got a jumble of letters, like random ones. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know who are these people. But then I thought that was quite exciting because I don't know who they are. And I want to see if a pattern builds. Like, is it the same letter, but it's a different one now? And then it's like, okay, so now the new timeline's shifting. Okay. Because you just want something to happen, I can't wait for someone to get their life together and decide that you're their priority. It doesn't make me feel too special knowing I wasn't their priority in the first place. And again, they're not an vengeful person. Of If they were, it wouldn't be someone I've been interested in the first place. But I think when you have a choice and you've got a choice, you've got this person or you've got this person, and you choose someone. I've spoke about it in one of my books. You can't expect to test someone out and then go back down the road and say, "Oh, sorry, I should have chose you." It's like, well, that's unfortunate, you know, because the reality is they may never be able to catch up. I see it like that, and again, this is me being the very black and white. I don't have much grey area, so as much as I could start to understand and feel sorry for them, it's still a case of, yeah, but you still didn't choose me though. Um, so I see it like roads. So like, let's say either way, in the healing journey, I was further along. I'm not saying I'm better, but I was further along anyway. So my vibration was higher. At least that's the way I interpret it, which would make sense based on the fact that I don't want to say better decisions, but I have high value in my life, and some people attach themselves to the wrong people, which would indicate maybe low value in your life. So let's say you're up here. I'm not saying I'm better, but just in the decisions I'm making, how I'm progressing, healing, my healing journey. Let's put it on your healing journey. I'm up here, and they're here. Well, maybe they're a little bit lower. I don't want to say that though, because they're who they are. They're not lower than me. Healing journey. There is still a lot to do. So then they could have come together and you would have grown together and elevated. That'd be nice. I took some give and take. I'd have had to sort of like slow down a little bit to try and help them, and then they would have caught up. Instead, you take a relationship that maybe is not the one you're destined to have, and it's going to be ups and downs, chaos. It's not going to go as great as you want. But the other person has to just keep walking on their journey, though, don't they? And have to keep going and going and going. Um, And then, like, for instance, you've got the chaos, you've got to learn from it, you're going backwards, you're losing yourself because the other person's maybe cause you to lose your identity a bit. Happens in relationships sometimes, especially when it's not the right person. Then you've got to go back down the road, and then you're trying to fit back on their road, and it's like, how are you ever going to catch up, though? Because you was already running slow in the first place. How the hell do you speed up that far? That's my concern. It's like, even if someone said, you know what, I made a mistake. Yeah, but how are you possibly going to heal to this extent? I don't have the resources anymore. I can't hold my life up for 2 years to help you. I could have given up half a year. I could have done 6 years, 6 months of helping someone overcome something if they need that support. I would have been there. But I've already lost 4 years of my life waiting. I don't think it would be particularly fair for me to now be waiting multiple more years. It's like decisions get made and it changes timelines, I see. Like I say, it was up to recently where I think that's the thing. There has to be a deadline to things. It wasn't like I'm just like set that deadline in the first place, but I just feel something internally within me, like an alarm clock's gone off. Like, it's done. It's done. You've waited and you've waited and you've waited. So I don't have regrets. Not saying I've acted perfectly, but I don't have regrets. I'll always know I gave plenty of time. It's not a knee-jerk reaction. It's 4 years since we spoke, the first bet. They've gone on a healing journey, made decisions. This is just me talking. They haven't said, they've only ever told, they did say they liked me a long time ago, but they haven't said it recently. And we haven't spoken for a year now. So this is all just me venting out loud that I feel they're my person. Spirits indicated they're my person. They haven't even spoke to me for a year anyway. And our relationship hasn't moved anywhere. We're further back than we were at the beginning. It's just we don't barely know each other anymore. They may know me more than them if they've been watching my content from another account or anything. Then they'll be more aware of me than I am of them, for instance. Of course, I know certain things with spirit and stuff, but in terms of me being in the public eye, like in terms of where I do my content, people have a window into my life, so they might feel like they know me. But unless you're in my life, you don't. And that's a weird outlook, isn't it? Because people do that. They put the screen on and they feel they're part of your life and they can clock in every day if they choose to and feel they're with you. And it's like, yeah, but you're not. But you're not. I've never been someone that does anything to try and make someone jealous. I'm not into all that shit. So when I am with someone, it'd be because I'm in love with them. I would never I would never be with someone if I'm not in love. But like I say, that's the one thing I really want. And it's just, I'm hoping it happens at some point soon because I think it's been long enough. You know, I've been single for like 8 years. In about 3 months, I think it's 8 years, 2 months. April. End of April, it'll be 8 years. And I would argue the relationship before that was in decline for about 4 years before that. So it's been a long time of feeling alone, you know. And I was thinking yesterday when I was really angry, I was, I was like, I don't think it's cruel. I think it's cruel to have to live so alone. And that's when I was getting really angry about things, you know. I was just like, this is just a joke now. Like, when does it get fair? But like I say, it's not a desperation thing. I wouldn't have chaotic people around me to fill a void. I don't do that. I have high standards and I'll continue that. It just means I may have to traverse this world alone and watch my daughter grow and witness her experiences. But I'm really happy for her because she's having brand new experiences for a teenager. A new relationship just formed. And it was nice to see how excited she was, how vulnerable she allowed herself to be in asking the boy out. And the fact they've got this connection, you know, you can see that. And I like the fact she's chose someone who just is themselves. And I admire that. I think it's great because that's what we should be doing. You know, it's not about popularity contests. It's not about how people present themselves. It's just who are they? Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to watching her now become more independent, and have her own experiences. She won't have me constantly in her ear, putting pressure on her one way or another for this or behave like that. It's like, you know what? Just it's your experience. We learn. We learn from everything, and I think it's important you allow them the freedom to learn. Um, but yeah, there's a frustration in many areas right now for me personally. So although, but I mean, I've said I'm not going to do any more videos, and there's a good chance this be a one-off, unless I feel strongly compelled. Um, Much like love, even in career, you have to look at these signal signs a little bit and say, look, is it working? I can't get views anywhere, so don't get views on YouTube, don't get views on TikTok. So it stands to reason. There's no point creating video that no one sees. It's just what's the point? Anyway, I'm gonna have a coughing fit if I keep staying on this microphone. But hopefully, it's gone some way to helping people really understand that even when you elevate your life, there's going to be a period of feeling left out, even though you're leaving people out. But we all owe it to ourselves to strive for the best we can, and don't let anyone limit your ambitions. Ambition to be our best self. You know, everybody tries to keep me small, and as soon as I am myself in my strongest form, I become a threat to other people, and they don't like that.